Boy, I've just read an article on about this 15-year-old kid committing suicide because he couldn't be in physical contact with an anime character. It's, honestly, it is depressing to have a kid love anime so much he wants to kill himself over it. And now his parents want they they've burnt the the merchandise that he bought, which is very very upsetting. As they could have, I know it's a knee jerk reaction, and what's one thing you do if you know the target of if your despair is to either burn it, sue it, bury it, or just toss it away. But that's some seriously good merch, but and could have been you know sold on eBay or something like that. But this is where it gets gets my anger up. Literally gets me frustrated. They demand a ban on anime, manga, and all things related to it. That is literally going way overboard. And to be honest with you, it's it's pushing it a bit. Sorry. Just had something in my throat. The first thing said, the child had had a one-sided romantic relationship with this particular character. It was a one-sided deal. It's just I've to be honest with you, in my youth, I've done it with the women of professional wrestling, Sunny, Jacqueline, the Cat, the WCW Nitro girls. I've had that sort of one-sided romantic. Even Miss Congeniality, Francine, Dawn Marie, and Beulah McGillicuddy, and some Australian female wrestlers as well. It was a one-sided romantic relationship. But I didn't kill myself over it. There are there are girls having a one-sided relationship with pop stars. Look at One Direction, Justin Bieber, Bruno Mars of today. Some have killed themselves over it. Some, quite a vast majority, have not. But you haven't seen parents say, "Oh, let's ban Justin Bieber from the airwaves," or ban One Direction, Bruno Mars, or Zac Efron, if you're talking about more the acting side of things. the actors who played Edward Cullen and Jacob Raindancer from the Twilight series of movies. Back in the 90s, it was more towards Luke Perry and Leonardo DiCaprio. They were the teenage heartthrobs at the time. Tobey Maguire is also a part of that club of girls that wanted to be with them. A couple of professional wrestlers, more like the thinner skater boy, cruiserweight E type wrestler that was even cartoon characters as well, you know. But to say to ban an entire atmosphere of anime and manga because your kid had a one-sided romantic one-sided romantic fetish, fantasy, whatever way you want to look at it. It was a one-sided deal. That was it for that particular relationship. But this is what I find funny. I don't find it funny as in ha. I find it funny as in bizarre. The same thing has been said for heavy metal music. A bit of music that I thoroughly enjoy. I love listening to Metallica, Motorhead, Limp Bizkit when they do good metal, Ronnie James Dio, Nightwish, Dragon Force, Disturbed. Toss in some Terrazas and all those other type bands. Nightwish as well, if I had mentioned that before. I've listened to that sort of music and I enjoy that sort of music. But that music has also been in the atmosphere when it comes to the brutal murders at Columbine. They blame Marilyn Manson and they blame Cannibal Corpse for a song lyric. A Suicide Solution, that's read the lyrics. Oh, I'm that much in pain. Someone knows what I'm feeling. Okay, time to kill myself. Or with a bit of poison or whatever. And the parents go after the metal music. They go after the artists, which is sad. They go after metal. They go after anime. It's because some baloney for this defamatory reasoning that if that wasn't around, their children would not be affected. This kid with this particular anime. Let me just quickly look up. Let's see here. It was Ikaros from Heaven's Lost Property. And let me read. See. But I'm just reading this small little thing from, and I'll put the link in the description below. But in this letter, he claimed that he would die to meet Icarus on the other side, after asking God's forgiveness, and hung him in his room, and was found by his parents at 5 the next morning. Since his death, his parents burnt Icarus-related goods and called for the censorship of anime and manga because of the alleged ability to destroy lives, inciting sex and morbid actions. Now, let me see. That's what they said about metal. That's what people continuously say about metal. That's what they say about now anime and manga. Don't you see a coalition, like a connection here, that art has been attacked because it provides, morbid, metal, sex, metal, violence, metal. Morbid, anime, manga. Sex, anime, manga. Violence, anime, and manga. But really, besides the metal scene and the anime slash manga scene getting the same hatred, how about these parents look in their own actions, their own lifestyle? Woo! Slip dip. It's just so stupid. Honestly, it's so stupid to blame parents for all of this. No, it's not. Let me rephrase that. It's not right to blame these artists for saying, for having materials of a morbid, sexual, or violent nature. Hell, I'm a Naruto fan. And let me see here. And I do like this. Well, this first boss, or shall we say, a major non-leaf boss, Zabuza Momochi, or Momochi Zabuza, which has been given the moniker Demon of the Hidden Mist. And let me continue here. And this is an anime character. During the term of the fourth Mizukage in the Hidden Mist Village, began the practice of putting academy graduates against each other in death matches as the final exam, with the exceptionally skilled students named prime candidates for the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist. Zabuza, not yet a student himself, killed over 100 of his classmates. The practice, which was discontinued and would therefore be known as the Demon of the Hidden Mist. Let's just read something here. Zabuza killed over 100 students. Now let's put that to a theory. See, You got a character, Zubza Mamuchi of the Hidden Mist Village. He killed over 100 students of the Ninja Academy of the Hidden Mist when he wasn't yet a student. This indulges a person who's a fan of this character bought several blades, counting more than 7. Made homemade shuriken, or to the non-ninja initiated, the ninja's throwing star. The small weapon is called kunai, which is a small arrowhead attached to a small handle. Well, a large arrowhead attached to a small handle. Let me just grab one of my art supply, since I've been doing a lot of art, and that's the reason why I haven't been able to do many videos. I've just been doing a lot of art. A handle, not much bigger than this crayon, and just about here. Another half thereof, or a bit more. A large arrowhead, or shall we say a spearhead, on the top of that, and you can just throw that and use it as a stabbing implement. Get a huge sword. Get several of those. Make those homemade weapons and that. And just because he or she didn't get into a college, would wrap the face like the character, have that particular, you have the hidden mist forehead protector, forehead protector, ninja headband, wear the clothing of this character with machetes, butcher's cleavers, different knives, the throwing stars, the kunai, homemade kunai, homemade ninja throwing stars, various knives and that you get from like a pair, like an cutlery type store, and make very dangerous bombs, which isn't that hard, to be honest with you. Diesel fuel and styrofoam. You can learn how to make homemade napalm. Paste on certain areas. I'm not saying how much fuel to how much styrofoam you need to make this thing. I have not made it, but there are. You can make as I said, you can make an explosive mix from that combination. What that person needs to do. They were denied access to a university or a college because it was because like either their grades, it was because of their willingness to put into the school community instead of just their studies, or something that didn't adhere to their particular school's doctrine. Then you have the student planning, put little make little Naruto, Naruto style bombs under the bleachers for homecoming. Attack the bleachers, kill several people. Then as the mayhem ensues, after the destruction of the bleachers and that, and people running for their lives, this person dressed like that character, Zabza Mamuchi, decides to go on a ninja attacking killing spree by doing the homemade ninja throwing stars, even using small buzzsaws as effective throwing stars. I'm not saying that you should do it, but I have watched Arnold Schwarzenegger's Commando to know that thing can work. And I've watched Mythbusters too. That doesn't help my case much of knowing all this violent stuff. Just throw it, and you just see this scream in pain. This, and people start dropping. Then the kunais get thrown. People think, where in the hell is this stabbing and that coming from? Yeah, flying tools, flying instruments and that. Then the attacks continue. It goes from that to the machetes being used on like over here or anything like that. Then it gets to the big blades. It gets to the big blades. Like the butcher's blade, like the butcher's cleavers being used, and then finally the katana, like a very much steroid induced katana or samurai blade being used to kill more of these people. That is literally following a character's profile from a bit of fiction to the letter, which is, which for me infuriates me, literally. Just for that, if that scenario does happen and someone says ban Naruto because of this character, because of this person killing these people because of one reason or another, or even because of one social reason, but then there's mental reasoning as well. It doesn't have to be a football match or a football game. It could be the debate club that gets killed off in such a way. It could be a lecturer who, let's say, female studies, and a young lady who looks up to Lauren Southern. I'm not saying Lauren Southern can be I'm not saying that Lauren Southern is going to be responsible for this, but a woman like, or a young woman like Lauren Southern, who sees this feminism bullshit for what it is, total bullshit, starts questioning the lecturer. Then that lecturer said, "You know what? Since you're not going to adhere to our particular manifest of the studies, this is what you're going to do. We're going to kick you out of the study, and you have to apply for another course somewhere in either this college or somewhere else." Then the Zubza Momochi thing can happen within that class as well. That's just a hypothetical reason as to sort of events. But really, where were the parents? Firstly, where were the parents? The parents have a lot of explaining to do. Explaining to do. Where were they? Honestly, where were they when their child was doing all this romantic stuff or with this particular character? And from what I read, this kid was Catholic. Where was his? Where was the padre, the brother, the priest? Where was he? To be honest with you, I can actually blame the priest more, because the priest can easily say, "You're a sexual deviant. You're a pervert. You're Catholic. You should know better." And I've seen a lot of Catholic priests belittle not only boys for liking a cartoon character, but I've heard them do a lot. I've seen just in my local uh, township center, a young teenage girl liking some cover art of let me see, was it Naruto the last movie? They said that Naruto looks hot, he looks attractive, and this Catholic padre Catholic priest goes, "For shame for you, girl! You are sexually deviant. You are going to hell." My jaw dropped when I heard this. I'm To be honest with you, I'm happy to have seen that girl, seen that same young woman coming out of a Protestant church instead of reading in my local newspaper that she had committed suicide because of what this stupid Catholic priest had to say. It's more up to also whether the teachers was this, was this guy did this guy have any friends? There's a lot more to society than some form of entertainment. How people want to blame professional wrestling for deaths of kids. Kid getting choke slammed onto onto a nailed floorboard, uh, onto on a bed of nails that were a pallet with nails driven into it. And the pallet turned upside down where the spikes were. I've read that. I've read it with professional wrestling. Parents demanding professional wrestling do this. I've seen it with heavy metal music. Oh, they should ban heavy metal music because it promotes suicides and death. And now guess what? It's going with this whole anime stuff. There's 3 things that I love, and all 3 of them are being attacked. And I'm going to place the blame onto the parents here. Where were you when your child was going through this emotional, very emotional stage in their life? Where were you when your child was trying to ask you questions about virtually anything to do with romance? Where were you when their emotional state started to slip that low that they had in their mind to commit and to perform a suicidal act? Where were you? You call yourselves loving parents. But where were you? You were nowhere. You were literally nowhere for your kid. What you would have done? Send it to the priest. The priest would have lowered the hammer down because they liked a cartoon character. The priest of this kid. Let me just say this. If you were one of the people who said, don't be such a sexual pervert, don't be a deviant, well then you have blood on your damn hands. Let's just see. Since ever here in Australia, he was in high school, but in America, that sort of country would be some sort of middle schooly, high schooly type thing. Where were the teachers? Where were the counselors of this kid? It is your responsibility to help the children under your stewardship. All you were nowhere. The Catholic priest you were saying, oh, you are a sexual pervert, you're deviant, you're this, you're that, you're the other. Saying that the kid was worthless. They're saying the kid was nothing. And you know what? The parents are not that far behind. Wow. Whoopee-doo. Put a roof over his head. Put food on the table for him to eat. Give him drink to drink. How about having a damn interest in your child? You are responsible for your child's death. Your priest is responsible for your child's death. The school is responsible for your child's death. Don't put any emphasis on anime, manga, or anything else that your child was into. Because there's a lot more deep-rooted stuff than damn entertainment here. It was your lack of your lack of stewardship. It was your lack of integrity as parents. You know what? It is so true. To quote Penn. From Penn and Teller. Or is it? Don't blame the artists. Though he was talking about video games, with all the shoot 'em up video games, he even called out these stupid women on a panel show that he was invited on, saying, would you call William Shakespeare violent? No, you wouldn't. The same thing can be said for the people who made that particular anime called Heaven's Lost Property. Heaven's Lost Property is as sexually depraved as a song about suicide. Literally talks about suicide. So really, I blame the parents, I blame the priest, I blame the school. I blame the sporting coaches if this kid had did some sort of sport out of school. I blame any parent that was in this kid's life. And not parent, any adult. Who was physically in this kid's life. A neighbor who would have just seen the kid enjoying Heaven's Lost Property, would have said, and since it was in Spanish, would have said something in Spanish. Don't masturbate yourself. Don't. You disgusting boy. It's all these social constructs that literally killed this kid. It wasn't anime. It was literally the parents not wanting to admit that their child had romantic feelings outside of the constructional norm. It would have been. It is the priest who condemned this kid. The neighbor who say to his parents that they caught their child masturbating over a character. It would have been the teachers who have said, "Why don't you have something a bit more age appropriate on your school folders and that?" It's not this kid's fault. It's not anime's fault. It's not the music's fault. It is the people in his life's problem. That these the adults in this kid's life that were the problem. So really, you want to ban anime? You want to ban manga? You want to censor the lot? Guess what? Be more responsible with your children and don't pass the buck onto anyone else for your lack of parenting. I'm Dragon Barrows. I'll burn you later.